This video is for all of you guys out there who have been watching Elliott Hulse's videos and those of you who always wanted to meet him but never got the chance. About 4 days ago, I attended the Warehouse Gym Boot Camp. It's an event that Elliott Hulse and Strength Camp held to inform people on how to open up their own gym. And really, I didn't come there for that. I don't think anyone did. Most people just came to see the man, Elliott Hulse. I gotta say, I was kind of disappointed. Although the event was great, all the people I met were great. Everybody who were fans of Elliott Hulse were an honor to me in real life. Everybody was nice and exciting and had their own perspectives on life. It was amazing, really, to find all these people. But where my disappointment was, or where it came from, was when I met Elliott Hulse. It's obvious that the man that you watch on YouTube is not going to be the man that you meet in real life. I mean, it's obvious because people change and times change. But the Elliott Hulse that I met 4 days ago is not even close to what I hoped. And it's kind of selfish of me to compare him to my expectations of him, but let me be honest here. I think we're all at least expecting him to be a loving, open person that is kind. But really, that's not what I saw. The Elliott Hulse that I met was up in his head. He was very closed off, and he was almost disconnected from the event itself. Although he was there, his mind was elsewhere. At first, I thought it was very hard to approach him because of how popular he is and how much of a celebrity he is. The boot camp, or the seminar, was a bit boring. We sat in rows like a school and they provided us paper and a pen while one person was talking in front. And Elliott Hulse didn't speak, his team spoke. Well, Elliott Hulse spoke like 15 minutes compared to the 8 hours his team spoke. His strength camp team they're amazing people, but their seminars, their presentation was boring. It's almost like they didn't prepare. The slideshows were made ahead of maybe like a couple hours before the actual seminar. None of them were actually prepared to give this talk. And it's like none of them actually cared to be prepared. All the slides were in black and white. It was just a bunch of text with no pictures. The speakers were boring and monotonous like I am right now. Chris and Shannon and Tyler and all those who spoke were bored. They were bored. It was like they didn't even care about the speech itself. It got so bad to a point where most of us were falling asleep, and Shannon had to do a thing like 1, 2, 3 just to get everybody awake, and we would have to do that every like 30 minutes because it was so boring. I know I may not seem like a trustworthy person, but just hear me out on this. I met the man and I hugged him, I smelled him, I felt him, I looked at him, I heard him speak. I saw him in real life for the first time ever. And like most of you guys, I've been following his videos for a long time. And he's a mentor to a lot of us. But let me try to explain what I experienced. So as the seminar got boring and more boring, my head started to hurt with all the facts and all the non-stop talking. We didn't even get a chance to ask questions until the second day. After about like 40 slides, I got bored and I decided to take a break and go to the restroom. And when I came out, I saw Elliott Hulse sitting in the back with the rest of his team while someone else was giving the seminar. And there was an empty chair next to him. And I thought, maybe this is my chance to finally talk to him and ask him what's his perspective on this. Because man, the event was boring. Everybody else knew that too. And I sat next to him and I told him that there's a lot of information going out there and it's not really exciting. I'm kind of getting bored here. They're just going on and on and on and it's overwhelming me. And he didn't even look at me. He just ignored me completely right there. And I thought, okay, maybe I'm being weird or something. Maybe he didn't hear me. So I asked him the question again. And I said, isn't this a lot of information? This kind of feels like school. We're just sitting there and they're just spouting out information. It's really hard to absorb. Because it was. And he looked at me for a second and looked away and said, That's the only thing he said. And I waited there for another 20 to 30 seconds waiting for a real answer or waiting for him to actually give a thought about what I asked. And he did nothing. He just continued to ignore me. And then I went back to my seat and I tried to continue on with the event. And I thought something was wrong with me, you know? When you meet your mentor, the man that you've been looking up to, and you do something wrong, or it seems like something's wrong with him, usually you blame yourself because how could your mentor be wrong? How could the man you looked up to be wrong? So I doubted myself the entire seminar. Saying stuff like, oh, maybe I came off as weird. But then I paid closer attention to Elliott. I focused on what he was doing and how he looked and his body language. He would do this thing where he would go around asking people questions and stuff. And his responses were always very vague. He would say, or follow up with a question that didn't really match what he was asking. I looked into his eyes a couple times and I had a few short conversations with him and I noticed that he was not there. Like, although he was physically there, it seemed like his mind was elsewhere. He seemed to be thinking about other stuff while talking to me and other people. It seemed like he wasn't actually there. And he asked these questions as part of his, like, a routine. It's not like he actually cared. I know it sounds harsh to say and I'm gonna get a lot of hate, but I know I'm not the only one that experienced that when I was there. He seemed really disconnected from everything he was saying and from the questions and to the people there. It's like he had some other thing on his mind, which I found out later what it was. The seminar, the $1,000 seminar, was not... The point of the $1,000 seminar was not to inform us about opening up our own gym. The point of the seminar, the $1,000 seminar, was to see who would be willing to spend on his products. It was there as a test. The $1,000 was nothing. It was a test. The first day of the seminar was non-stop information, and I thought something's wrong here. All this information is vague and it's all tips, strategies, and techniques, but no principles, like he often says. And it's until the second day I realized what was going on. The event was meant to see who would be the next strength camp ambassador, is what they call it in fancy terms. To see who would open up their own strength camp franchise so that strength camp itself would grow. That's what they told us, but I'm pretty sure Elliott Hulse and his team wants to create other strength camps so that eventually they could work outside of strength camp and have a steady income. The $1,000 seminar was not meant to inform us, but it was just meant as a trick for him to upsell us his highest product, to open up our strength camp of our own, which was another $7,500 plus $500 every month, which excludes all the equipment that we need and all the rent and all that stuff. We were tricked, basically. The first day and all the PowerPoints and all the speaking, it was not meant for us to learn anything, actually. It was meant to dull our brains so that Elliott Hulse can come in at the end and then excite us about this new strength camp franchise opportunity. It was all an elaborate plan. We were meant to be bored at the beginning so that Elliott Hulse could shock us and wake us up, surprise us at the end, which is a thing that he's very good at doing. Just let me say it one more time for you guys to understand. It was a 2-day event, and the first day was filled with non-stop talking and lame PowerPoints by his team. Not even 2 minutes of Elliott Hulse, just his team. The speech was boring and dull. The PowerPoints were made a couple hours before the event. No or no real information was really given out. No secrets or principles were actually given to us. But then on the second day, Elliott Hulse came in for the final 30 minutes. He excited us by letting us do a dance, and which really opened us up so that he could come in for the final grip. The whole point of the event was to trick us, or to get us ready for the idea of opening up our own strength camp franchise. To come full circle, Elliott Hulse would say, Elliott Hulse is not the man you guys think of when you watch his videos. Or maybe he used to be. But the man that I saw was disconnected from reality. He seemed like he didn't even care about us, or our questions or our answers. It seemed like he was just there to make some money. And although he's an amazing speaker, it seems like he's lost his values as a human being. At first, and of course anybody that talks to their mentor and displeases their mentor, they would reflect on themselves, and that's true in some ways. So I thought maybe something was wrong with me when Elliott Hulse ignored me. I thought maybe I'm coming off as like really weird or too pushy. But I don't think that's the case. I felt like I was grounded at the time, and I am now. And I saw in his eyes that he was ungrounded. Elliott Hulse, the man that said breathe into his balls, I saw that he, the mentor of all of us, he was the one ungrounded. He was up in his head thinking about other things that he could do to make money, and I could see it clearly. I talked to his wife, his dad, his uncle/cousin. I talked to every other person there that's trying to open up a strength camp. I talked to his team members. And I'm an antisocial guy. But I talked to all of these people for the first time in my life, making eye contact with these people, which is a hard thing I had to practice. I noticed that all of these people are people too. All of these people were easy to talk to and open to what I said, and they were there to help me. But when I saw Elliott Hulse, he was closed off. He wasn't there to help us, but he was there to make money. It was very hard to talk to him. When he would ask questions or follow-up questions, or I think that was his technique in one of his videos, to ask follow-up questions when you don't really care, to pretend like you do, but I could see it in his eyes. And it wasn't just me. I watched him go around and ask people questions about their lives and stuff, and it seems like he was just doing it as a routine. It was just a routine. Everything we said, he didn't really care. I'm pretty sure he won't even remember my face by the time I upload this video. It made me reflect on myself, though, to see what kind of a person I truly am. I've been worshiping and looking up to this guy for my whole life, only to realize that he is not half the man that he is. I didn't make this video to bash him or insult Strength Camp, but I made this video to inform others about who he really is. If you never had a chance to meet him, this is what I experienced. And if you met him and you completely disagree with everything I said, then that's your opinion. Maybe he showed you a different side. But really, the Elliott Hulse I met was a master. He was a king at tricking people. I think that's his gift. And really, I watched all of his videos and I tried to embody most of what he says. And I loved his videos. He was like the dad that was never there for me. Or he acted as my dad when my dad wasn't there for me. But if you're looking to spend $1,000+ for his grounding camp or to meet him in real life, I'd save your money. Just watch his videos because they're great in itself. Because in that way, it's almost like he's actually talking to you. But when you meet him in real life, I can guarantee you that he doesn't care about you. He has other plans in mind. He has other goals in mind. We're just stepping stones for him, really. It's really what it is. The king of Elliott Hulse, the king that promises to empower others, what he calls kinging other people, it's really him stepping on other people to make it feel like they're important, because it's the king's foot on you. But really, he's keeping you down so that he could get up himself. I would like to say thank you, though, to Elliott Hulse for being an amazing person on YouTube and making all these videos. I would like to say thanks to Tyler, Shannon, Chris, Nick, and Max, I think that's his name, for being amazing people to meet. I also met people from Strength Camp Ackworth, which he was an amazing guy. I would like to thank the guy from Strength Camp Gainesville. Those two people are amazing too. I'd like to thank all those German people I met, especially that one that looked like a 15-year-old when he was 26. It's cool as heck. I'd like to thank the Mexican guy I met that lives in Arizona that's probably going to open up his gym. You're an amazing guy. I thought you were cool. I'd like to thank the guy from Canada who was really aware of what was going on. He wasn't bought into the idea that Elliott Hulse was a god. I think he's from Ontario, something like that. I'd like to thank Nick for talking to me even though I asked him too many questions. I'd like to thank the other intern. I didn't get to really get his name that played basketball with me. He was cool. I would like to thank the other guy that was really tall, the blonde one that played basketball with me. And all those, the short guy with the tattoos that played with me, he was cool. And the guy that was 30 something that was really short but taught me all these karate moves, mixed martial art moves, Krav Maga. I'd like to thank him. I'd like to thank all the people I met. And I know that if I left you out, and the girl I met too, with her boyfriend, and I told you guys my story about, I'd like to thank all of you guys. The firefighter, the policeman, the Navy member, the really buff black guy, the firefighter from Mexico. Everybody was truly amazing. But I'd like to come back and say that the community is amazing. But Elliott Hulse, the leader of the community, is not what you guys expect. All the loving and kind and friendly people I met was not Elliott Hulse. All the people that I met that I felt were real human beings, I could not see in Elliott Hulse. And it's not because of me worshiping him, it's because the man that I met was not grounded. The man that I met didn't care what I said and wasn't open to new ideas. He was there to make money and to benefit off of us. Although the community was amazing, the leader was, I don't know, he wasn't a human being that cared about others.